going to jump over to the bracket now. I'm going to see the exciting news, or the news that you already know. Nauka and the mighty Tufaka are facing off in the final. So we can see now that the Nauka and Tufaka are in the final. Tufaka is running the green-orange list that we know of, and Nauka is running the red-orange list. We've seen both the lists before. We're going to jump over to Nauka's list first. And as we said earlier, all these lists are brought to you by Mythgard Hub. Any lists you want to play right now, or any of these lists you've seen today, go over to mythgardhub.com and you can play them right now. You can actually, no word of a lie, import them straight into the in-game client. That is absolutely legit if you ask me. But anyway, Nauka's list, guys. So we just saw this list play overcome the list of Goreflow, who was running a very similar list, but was running a little bit more control with cards like Seal of Exile. Now, it's a very strong list. Anyone who's played Mythgard for longer than a day will know just how strong Red Orange is on ladder. It's a tried and tested list. It's very much an argument to say, why reinvent the wheel? If I'm going to a Mythgard tournament, why do I want to reinvent the wheel? Let's just take a deck I know is super strong, super optimized, and I can run with it and play it super well on in the tournament. And that's exactly what we're looking at here with Nauka's red-orange list. And if we jump over now to Tufaka's list, it's very different. It's very different from this list here. It is green-orange, okay? And this is running the Disc of Cicadia as its pathway. So it's running, as we saw earlier, it's easy to see it as this is a reanimate disc because it's running disc. But we saw earlier, actually, it's more of a mid-range list that's running the potential mechanic of reanimate, and it's already overcome red orange, and it's genuinely a pretty strong list. Wholesome, I know you like this list early. You saw the play of it earlier. Looking between the two lists of Nauka's red orange and Tufaka's green orange, how do you think they're going to play out, buddy?
I'm guessing it's going to play out the same way it did against David KC, and I think we're going to get a 2-0 or 2-1 for Faka here. And yeah, basically Nalka is not even running a single copy of Seal of Exile, so he's gonna have a hard time. It's either gonna be Sign of Pride or Gigantomachia.
Yes,
he's got 2 copies of Dark Passenger. I mean,
yeah, and that I don't want to say lack of control, but a lack of kind of removal compared when you can put it into something like Short Stag and Aiku Torsu. If you don't find them, they are cards that can be really hard to get rid of. But we can see now, game 1 is up and running, people. We're looking at it from Tufaka's perspective, and we can see here Tufaka didn't find the Grinning Collarbox open in hand and isn't playing first anyway, which means that Grinning Collarbox pretty much a useless opening play against Red Orange. But the hands are looking, I would say at the moment, they're definitely looking slightly more favoured towards Nauka. However, Tufaka does have a Temptation in hand. He does have a Sign of Pride in hand. He has some nice, tasty mid-range options, right? And there we go. We just found the Hopeless Necromantic as well.
Yeah, let's see if he discards Armageddon Angel here as his reanimator target.
Yeah, you'd imagine he'd want to set something up, right? I'd imagine that's probably that or heavy. I mean, my issue with putting Armageddon Angel in the Boneyard so early is you don't necessarily have control over when it comes down as a board wipe. But then if we look at Tufaka's list anyway, he's running 2 Seal of Exiles. He is running Dark Passenger, so he does have other options, but he's chosen to go down that mid-range route and put in Volkov Heavy there. Maybe he wants the control over Armageddon Angel to play it. For example, he knows that Nauka has 7-ring Ritual in hand, right? And that is one of his straight up. Obviously, Seal of Exile is a way of dealing with it, but Armageddon Angel is another way of dealing with it, right?
Correct. Yeah, but he's got 2 Born Agains in hand now, so this is going to be really good for him. He's going to be able to stall, and he has the discard fodder, so he can keep up with Nauka's value for the most part.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I'm assuming there may be some new, fresh-eyed Mythguardians in chat watching the stream, buddy. So just explain to them, because I know you love Reanimate. Why is Born Again so good in this deck? If you could just explain the mechanic and how it loops and works.
Basically, whenever you flip disc, you're going to have to discard something. So once you've already filled your initial your first unit in the boneyard, you kind of don't want to keep dumping all your good cards in there. So what Born Again does is you flip your disc, you discard it, and it comes right back to your hand
Yeah.
at the end of your turn.
So you're not clogging up the boneyard. You're, like you said, you're not actually losing any advantage from discarding a card. Again, even when they trade into it, it will come back at the end of this turn, back to hand. It just keeps looping and looping. The only way to stop it is to banish it. Yeah, that's literally the only way to stop it, right?
Yep.
So then that's I like that play there because it's saying to Tufak has now said to Nauka, fine, look, trade your 4/4 in, but you're going to get a 5/5 on the board that's going to remove your 4/4 and overrun damage and put some tasty board presence on the board now. How do you think Nauka approaches this turn?
I mean, I think what they're going to want to do, find more answers. And if you parry this turn, you can probably put Hades down afterwards and get insane value with that. You are going to take a little damage because you do have an Ifrit on board, but I think that's fine. He has a lot of health to work with right now, and Tufaka is not presenting any real threat other than the Necromantic and a heavy.
Yeah, there's another Necromantic there, which obviously isn't. It's not great right now. There's nothing else in the graveyard to pull back. But if there is a Necromantic in the graveyard, a Necromantic can pull back another Necromantic, which isn't a huge play, but definitely playing against it, it can be rather annoying just having these constant looping blockers to deal with, and then sometimes bringing back a big tasty minion at the end. It's like a little kind of labyrinth you're going through, and all of a sudden you've got a big boss at the end you've got to try and deal with, which can be a little bit frustrating. But
yeah, unless you have overrun, it's gonna be a nuisance. Clogging the board left and right.
Exactly, absolutely. So he's going to take a trade there to put this down on the board. He's going to discard, I'd imagine, he draws a card now. Another Hopeless Necromantic. There comes a point there, right, where there's too many Hopeless Necromatics in your hand. And I have a sneaky suspicion this might currently be that time when you're having 3 Hopeless Necromatics.
I mean, if you're playing against orange on ladder, you definitely don't want to have more than one because it's probably going to get sealed. But since this is open deck list and we know that Nalka is not running any seals, Tufaka is completely fine with having more than one in hand.
Is there an argument here for Nalka to burn a card and play Hades and the Perry? Trading's Born Again. Obviously, the Born Again will come back. Will bounce back to hand anyway. Then gets another 2-card draw. He has a lot of cards in hand anyway, but that is one line of play he could go down. He won't want to put the Hades underneath the Ifrit because he'll trade into it. It will come back as a 4/4, and the heavy will just trade over it next time, removing the minion. So he's got a few options to think about here. It'll be interesting to see what line of play Nauka plays, but getting the Hades on the board early is pretty key, right? And this is a good opportunity to get it on the board without taking any big damage next turn.
Oh, an ignition? Yeah.
An ignition, yeah.
So
Okay,
he clears the
I
board
like the
this
play,
way.
Hey there.
And he takes the draw with Recruiter.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a solid line.
I mean, there's a reason why I'm sat here casting and these guys are in the final of Brawl because they find those lines of play when I don't see them simply. So yeah, no, you're completely right. That was the better play there. It was more sustainable. Nauka will know that that Tufaka's deck has a late game presence. So let's not try and blow all my resources early, right? Let's try and manage the board. Let's get the board presence out. He's now found that Gigantomachia, which can be huge in this matchup because if Tufaka gets out something like just getting rid of something like a Short Stag or an Aikitorsu can be pretty massive, and it can't be pulled back with a Hopeless Necromantic because Gigantomachia banishes that card.
And that's he's going to get really good value if he hits another unit off of Recruiter, which he most likely will. Oh, he doesn't.
Oh,
that's surprising.
So he'll know that that's a non-unit spell, a non-minion spell. on his in top of his deck now. So, and we're getting towards the stage where, I mean, at the moment, Tufaka's going to probably want another orange card because he won't want to burn Sana Pride to set up an Angel if he needs to. That's for sure. And he won't want to burn Angel now to be like to keep the orange gems ticking over. He'll want something else. And outside of that, I mean, Detain's fine because it doesn't do damage. It stuns, but it doesn't stun it. It stops him from moving.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, Bella is again. I find Bella in this list not questionable. Just I feel like there are better cards out there rather than a Bella, in my opinion. There's not tons of spells in this list, so you're not getting value from that. It has a stun mechanic going on with it, but I feel like I wonder why Bella's in this list. I wonder what their thought process is around running the Bella.
It's just a great stall tool, right? So if you're trying to race somebody and they have something huge on the board, you can literally continuously stun it. I think for 2 turns before you run out of enough energy without replenishing it. So yeah, I questioned him flipping disc here. So he doesn't. Yeah, he's going to go through his entire boneyard, and those hopeless necromantics become ephemeral and they just disappear.
Yeah.
Another thing to know is Tufaka used Scion, and so he doesn't have a 3rd orange to burn for Armageddon Angel. And that could have been a 7-ring ritual turn for Nalka.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, without a Seal of Exile in hand or the ability to play Armageddon Angel, it's looking pretty nasty. And again, if Armageddon Angel is a great card, but even if you have a 2/1 sat down on a Stairway to Hades, it makes Armageddon Angel just that slightly less value, right? Because it's getting the card back, it's got Frenzy. It's a very, very strong card. Sorry, the Stairway to Hades is just adds that little bit more element of saying, well, play your Armageddon Angel, but I'm going to keep a creature on the board. I'm going to keep some board presence. So we're going to see the Bella now, which is going to probably stun, I'd imagine, the
pup, yeah.
The pup, yeah. So the shot 1 ball's still there. Like you said, it does have 7-ring ritual in hand. He does have the 3 red gems, 2 red gems to play 7-ring ritual as well. And then we're going to detain that as well, so it doesn't do any value. Yeah. So Tuvok is definitely playing a slow game here, right? Kind of trying to stabilize.
Yep. Well, Tufaka has Nalka on 10 health, so he's trying to just punch through and get that last bit of damage. But he knows that. I mean, he most likely knows that Nalka has Giganto in hand, and he was very conscious about playing around that in his last matchup.
No, definitely. And I mean, and what I mean, sorry, by stabilize, because people will see that and say, well, wait a minute, Tufaka's on 24 health, Nalka's on 10 health. People like the red-orange list can turn on a 6-pence and and then become all of a sudden extremely menacing. With the likes of 7-ring ritual, like if we obviously have the luxury of seeing Tufaka's hand, and it really isn't, apart from Armageddon Angel, there really isn't anything to write home about and say, wow, this is great. The Pride of Place is just bad at the moment because there's nothing opposite the Sign of Pride, and you're giving them an extra 2 damage, so it's just a dead card in hand. Hopeless Necromantic is bringing back nothing. It's just a chump blocker. Born Again is again, it's just a chump blocker at the moment. There's no real substance there. Tufaka could really do, although there's a Gigantomachia in hand, he won't know that. He'll be now hoping to find an Ike Torsu, right, or a Short Stag. Something to put some presence on the board. He's gone with a Gigantomachia now. Is that too early?
I mean, I think with that many cards in hand for Tufaka, he might have just sealed his own fate there. And he knows he can't play Oak because Tufaka has Pride of Place just sitting there in his hand, which is revealed. So.
Yes, and we're not too sure what I'm not sure what's at the bottom of Nalka's boneyard, but he has 2 cards in the boneyard. So when something else dies, he will be getting. So if a board clear happens now, say from Armageddon Angel, it can't now because hasn't got the mana for it after using the smite. When another creature dies, Nauka will be pulling a card back. I'm not 100% sure what went in there first. I'm sorry, I think it was an eager recruit. I think it was. I'm not 100% sure on that though. But it's looking interesting, right? Do you think that maybe Ghoul could come down and control the boneyard, but it's not enough of a presence. It's really much. Ghoul is going to come down. It does trade into the trapezist and stay on the board. Like you said, Oak is in hand, but as you rightly said, Pride of Place is on show. It's an open card. You can see his little eyeball on it to show that it's opened up, and he'll know that he won't want to play Oak to then have a Pride of Place to turn into it, and yeah, that's so he's gonna bump that back down. It's not ephemeral, is it? No, so that's not ephemeral. So it's just slowing him down, right? It's just slowing him down that one turn, saying, look, play something on your Stairway to Hades, just not this turn.
I think Tufaka's in a really good spot here. I think he's running one copy of Temptation, which is a great way to secure lethal in these types of matchups. Yeah, one copy.
There's one copy of Temptation.
And Seal, and he's running 2 copies of Seal. So I definitely think that he can surprise us with a lethal here pretty soon, because Nalka's getting so low, and bouncing the Strigoi pup means he's not going to be getting any free life this turn.
Do you think there's a chance that, I mean, Nalka could commit here, right? Nalka could commit a lot of cards here, maybe, and then so he's going to trade that into there, which makes sense. The Oak's going to get the life back as well. I'm thinking about the Armageddon Angel turn when's the turn to play the Armageddon Angel. Now, at the moment, the Armageddon Angel brings back the Stagori pup, and if he doesn't play it opposite, if he goes to play wide, which you can understand why, with now currently being on 10 health, the Stagori pup comes back as a 2/1 with Frenzy in the middle, so we're getting 4 life back next turn. Now, if he does play the Armageddon Angel, he'll get 3 pops as well, right, off of Oak. So he'll gain 3 life, and Thaka will actually take 3 damage. That's a nice play there, because it means he won't come back, right?
Yep. And he doesn't get, I think because it's left to right.
Okay, so he only gets 1. Yeah, okay.
And then Oak dies, so.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, wow.
So, the extract life off the top is huge.
Yep.
That is huge.
It's gonna make it hard for Tufaka to seal this game.
Yeah, no, definitely, and Disc is set up at the moment, so if he pops ability Smite, he'll have to discard a card next turn, and he has Born Again in hand to do so. You might want to do that to set up a. He might want to do that to set up a card draw the following turn, but at the moment he will have to discard a card, and this is slowly turning into. I don't want to say turning into Nalka's game, but it's the Perry Gate's going to be more cards in hand. This is getting nasty for.
I'm surprised Nalka took that route. I think he has Wings and Wyvern in hand. Is that Wyvern ephemeral? Is that why? I figured he would just.
I believe it is. Yeah, I believe the Wyvern is ephemeral.
I figured he would play that on Hades and then Wings Immortal into the Armageddon Angel. But yeah, that's a solid play as well. All right, finally the To Heaven and Back.
There we go. He found it. But the only thing to play on it is a Hopeless Necromantic or a Born Again, obviously. But it's okay. He plays that down there. I'm assuming the Hopeless Necromantic comes down. He did clear his
about this
Armageddon Angel. The bottom card?
I believe so. I think no, he might have a ghoul underneath that.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think there is a ghoul underneath it, which would actually be better for Thaka, because Armageddon Angel, being an angel, is pretty useless on Stairway to Hades, and it comes back as ephemeral anyway, so it wouldn't pop no matter what. If it traded in something, it wouldn't come back off Stairway to Hades. Sorry, off Heaven and Back, because it is ephemeral. Off of the Hopeless Necromantic. This is very tentative, right? Nalka's done a great job of. There was a point where Nalka was 15 health behind, and now only 3 behind, has the hand advantage. This game is.
I'm surprised about Nalka's last play though. So because he extracted life on the Angel, but he still played his parry opposite. So if he had played it on Hades, all right. So no, that Wyvern was not. Yeah, he's one off lethal here.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, it's not. I thought it was.
Ephemeral.
No,
Yeah.
sorry. I thought it was,
That's
but no, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's game, right? Because I mean, he has to Seal of Exile the wings because the overrun.
It doesn't have overrun anymore.
Oh, it doesn't have overrun anymore, does it? No, that was a change. My bad.
No worries.
Seal of Exile on this one here, and then I mean, he could burn Born Against, play Parry at the Gates if you wanted, but Trapezis in hand is lethal there and then. Obviously, Tufaka won't see that, but Nalka has Trapezis in hand. All he needs is a free lane, and no matter where he plays this, there you go. Lane 1 is free. No matter what he pulls off the top, it's a case of saying, "Hey ho, my Trapeze is going to come down and give me lethal by 1."
Yep.
Whew. Nice game 1. Nalka done really.
Nalka hung in there.
Yeah, really well stabilized. There was a point, like you said, maybe if Tufaka found the temptation, maybe there's an argument to say that he could have found lethal there, or even something like a murmur, something to give him a little bit more bite to his mid to end game.
Well, yeah, this is what I was saying about surprised about no Dire Benediction in his deck, because that was, if he would have cast Dire Benediction on Angel, or like he could have sealed out the game a long time ago, I think.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there. Obviously, you can argue that he didn't find either of his big creatures, his short stagger, his Akitorsu, but even if he did find them, Nalka had the Gigantomachia in hand. I think he played it. I questioned at the time, is it too early? Played it absolutely right time. I think that was the actual turning point. He had 6 damage out wide. He was only on 9 health. Removing those cards and saying, look, the board's clear now. He managed to play the recruit. He got a draw off the recruit, and that was at turning the corner, right? And that's where Nalka then started to climb back up that hill and managed to gain the victory at the end.
Yeah, I think Nalka did a great job there, keeping the board clear, making sure that Tufaka had no way of closing out that game, and doing everything he could to just maintain board control.
Yeah, and that was it. Like we've said it a million times, and we'll probably keep saying it. Obviously, the green-orange doesn't run many enchantments. It doesn't actually run any enchantments. Runs 2, sorry. One runs to heaven and back, and that is it. Whereas the red-orange, it's, I don't want to say built around the 2 enchantments, but they're very much cornerstone of the deck, right? And being able to play those, we said it so many times this tournament, when you have board presence, when you're not on the back foot, when you're not under pressure, put so much pressure on your opponent. And we're straight into game 2, guys. So Nalka is 1 up in this matchup against Tufaka in the final of Brawl, brought to you by 983 Media and the mighty Mythgard Hub. All decks, every deck. These 2 decks you're seeing now, guys, if you want to play them in Mythgard, you can literally head to mythgardhub.com right now, import them into your in-game client, and get rocking. Oh, Howard of Famine. There it is. We saw the damage it can do before. Will it come back out on trumps again here?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's going to feel really good about playing this card again. And he's got a lot of 4 and 5 mana cost cards in his hand, but one of those is definitely going into the boneyard here.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I'd imagine a heavy gets binned off. I'd imagine right now to set up the Hopeless Necromantic. There's also in hand, but it's there you go. There goes the heavy. It's not the nicest hand for Tufaka, especially against a deck like Red Orange, where at the moment he doesn't have a play next turn, and Red Orange now. So we can now start, like, luckily for Tufaka, there's no Trapezis in hand. But if there was, if Nalka curved out really well, then not being able to play a card like a sustainable card for 2, 3, maybe 4 turns against Red Orange can be horrible. It can just put you in a position where you're like, what do I do? I can't do anything. But that's a great card.
Yeah, he's got the Necromantic, and now he drew his 1 copy of Eager Recruit, so
Yeah.
he'll be able to clog the board a little bit there. And Herald the Famine can come down next turn.
Yeah, I think that'll be the play, right? I think because how like playing ahead. So now two-Factor plays first, meaning that Naka's always going to be burning cards to catch up mana-wise. So Herald of Famine, every turn you don't play him when he's in hand, you're almost losing value, right? Because you're getting more chance and not going to burn another card. So he's going to want to play him next turn. So he's going to want to play him. The question is, does he go wide? Does he say, well, I'm going to play this out nice and wide in lane 7 and let my heavy do the job it needs to do in lane 1 and 2?
I'm really not sure. I think he could do that and play more aggressive instead of defensive and using the lurker from Herald of Famine to place it in lane 1. But I don't think he has any reason to be afraid here.
Yep. And we can see that now 2 cards in Naka's hand are Stairway to Hades and to Heaven and Back, which again are great cards. But when it gets to playing them in 2 turns' time, if Naka doesn't have the board presence, as we said, doesn't have the state to play them, then they can be horrible cards to have in your hand because they're just nullified cards. They're cards that are useless until you can actually get around to playing them. The Aiku Torsu is a nice pull off the top there as well. No Gigantomachia, no Seal of Exile in hand, no Sign of Pride. So at the moment, Aiku Torsu, obviously we're 3 turns away from playing it, but it's a threat that if it does get played with no answer, it's a game winner. It's straight up a game winner.
Yeah, I mean, same with Solomon's Gale. As soon as that thing breaches and it gets Alpha Strike, you're going to have a hard time killing it.
Interesting there, though, that he didn't take the route to play the Herald of Famine. He's guaranteed at least value on it now, right? If he does play the Herald of Famine. I'm very interested to know why he chose to go the Recruit and the card draw over the Herald of Famine, where I would feel like now Herald of Famine comes down and he's guaranteed, in my mind, to get at least 6 value with the card burns alone, not even any swing damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Maybe he's just hoping to stick some bigger threats than Herald of Famine on the board. And he's going to use it as burn fodder.
We can see there now that Nauka does have the Gigantomachia in hand. So stuff like Herald of Famine, Aiku Torsu, even the heavies. If he pulls a heavy back and he plays a heavy from hand, then just get rid of it. They go from Gigantomachia, which can be played next turn.
Yep. And the interesting thing is, if he goes for the Ifrit here, he should attack the Recruiter. But if he goes for the Ifrit, he makes the right choice.
Okay, so the use of Smite means that the only play available now is the Eager Recruit, and I'm assuming he'll probably going to put his Past Recruit down somewhere as well. And imagine maybe lane 4 if he does choose to play at lane. Or he's going to go, lane 6, so lane 5. So all lanes are covered anyway. Lane 4 or 5 would have covered all lanes on the board. And again, we're seeing that Ifrit chipping away at Nauka's health. I just feel like, I know he's obviously burnt the Herald of Famine now. Clearly, two-Factor didn't see a reason to play it. But I just felt like with the Ifrit on the board and the Herald of Famine, for me, the potential of 8 damage without even swinging at someone is something I wouldn't want to turn up. But again, as I said earlier, there's a reason why I'm sat here casting the tournaments and I'm not playing in the final.
Yeah, I think there's a consideration here to play another heavy and force out the Gigantomachia if he thinks Nalka has it, so he can safely play in Iku Torso the following turn. Yeah,
no, definitely. He's only one gem away, right? So he's drawing a card next turn off of ability if he wants to. Obviously, he can't pop the ability, he can't pop Smite and play a heavy or a Solomon's Gale, but I think you're right. I think that's a nice play there. Playing the heavy, trying to bait out that Gigantomachia, because having another heavy on the board, having 10 damage or 13 damage with other cards on the board, let's see that heavy removed there. is with overrun is not very pleasant. So we'll see here get free chip damage coming through there. I'd imagine he burns the Hopeless Necromantic here to set up the free gems. Obviously, see what he pulls first. Maybe Born's the Born Again, right? But he's going to want to keep the. He's going to. I can't play. He's going to go with the Hopeless Necromantic play, which pulls back. Pulls back a Hopeless Necromantic, right? Oh, there you go. Pulls back a recruit, which is not a bad pull at all, actually, because he got the opportunity to pull a card off the top of that as well.
Yeah, he's going to need to find Seal at some point to counter the 7-ring ritual.
Yeah, which we can see is playable in two turns' time. It is in hand now. It's already been burnt, so he will not be burning it again. Next turn, it is playable. He can play the 7-ring ritual, and at the moment, it's not a bad card to play, right? It's not a bad card to play. That's nice. Nice flounder there, because obviously it will give the ability to play a Magmatar from hand. Again, meaning the ability pops off where it does 2 damage to each, 3 damage to cards in the opposite 3 lanes. And it will come back as a 4/4 with Agile, which is not to be snuffed at, that is for sure. And we've got Short Stack as well now. 2 of the big minions are in hand. So he's taken that trade there. He's happy to take that. He does have the life gain right now in terms of now a 2-Facker is up 7 life over Nauka. But what he plays now could be huge because at the moment, 2-Facker doesn't have an answer to 7-ring ritual. And
he's going to have to force out the Giganto. He has way too many big dudes in hand.
Yeah, he needs to. I mean, if we see Short Stagger and IQ, we straight away we're assuming that's straight up an IQ Torsu turn, right? I mean, I'm always a fan of playing the IQ Torsu first because the Short Stag can pull the IQ.
Well, Giganto will banish it.
Yeah, obviously it will banish it. But I mean, if it got removed any other way.
Yeah, with the Dark Passenger or something, you're right.
Yes, yeah. But there's. I mean, does he commit to the Gigantomachia now? Is this 2-Facker saying, look, play a Gigantomachia, but then you're going to have very little mana left to play anything else. You can play your Magmatar actually, can't you? You can play Gigantomachia and the Magmatar because the mana reduction. It's gone for the 7 ritual. My assumption here is he's getting quite greedy. Because what he's looking to do now is get the IQ Torso out and remove 2 of the 7 rituals and then drop the Gigantomachia. I mean, that overrun is devastatingly powerful.
Mm-hmm. I think he needs to play Hopeless Necromantic here so he can clog up the lanes.
Yeah, I think you're spot on.
He's still going to be able to Magmatar to clear.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's Necromantic, right? And a Born Again blocks, takes 2 of them out.
What is lost?
And then play a Born Again, maybe? Or we can play a Ghoul and a Born Again, actually, to really block them up. And then if they don't... So basically, at the moment, they have to play... Well, they have to play something to get rid of the Short Stag. But then if they don't play the Gigantomachia, then the IQ's there. This is really... These are the decisions that will win matches, right? When you play that Gigantomachia, when you play that Short Stag, when you play that IQ, try to bait stuff out. This is... so many people say, oh, card games are just down to card draw, right? But no, it's very much like poker. You're trying to bluff to your opponent, right, that you've got a certain card in hand or you haven't got a certain card in hand. And that's exactly what is going on now. This is kind of like a psychological battle of saying, well, are you going to leave me this free lane? It's lethal at the moment with Short Stag. What are you going to play over there? Are you going to play a Gigantomachia? Do so, because I'll drop an IQ Torso next turn. And now you can't get rid of that unless you have 7-ring Ritual to trade into it or anything. Sorry, Seal of Exile. There is a Dark Passage in hand.
Yeah, he has. And that's one of the reasons why 2-Facker cleared lanes 7 and 8. But
the at the moment, what's in hand, the Dark Passage is useless, right? Because if he plays Gigantomachia now, he drops the IQ Torso. There's nothing with Rush in hand, so he can't play a card, then put a Dark Passage on it. IQ Torso at the moment with what's in hand, with the overrun, is pretty much lethal. So it's that. So he is committing to it. He's getting rid of that Short Stag. So I'd imagine now we see the Iketorsu coming out probably lane 7 and saying you got to play a minion over here. And at the moment, Nauka does not have a minion to play opposite if he does go wide and go for lane 7. He's being safe. I mean,
I guess he can. Yeah, it gives it defender, so he can't attack with it. But Nalka wasn't running Impel, so he could have played it in the empty lane.
Yeah. I like lane 7 there. And also, lane 7 would have been guaranteed lead for next turn because Nauka pulled a Dark Passenger off the top. So at the moment, well, saying that,
it's still lethal.
It's still lethal because he can't, like I said, he's not running Impel. For a moment, I thought, the Dark Passenger on a Magmatar, bring the Magmatar over. He's not running Impel, he's running Infuse. So that play is useless right there. The moment, there really isn't, this lethal, it's straight up lethal. There is nothing Nauka can do about taking this beastie demon
he can Dark
monster
Passenger
to the
and see if
face.
he can pull something. Yeah.
Could you imagine if that was a Seal of Exile off the top?
And he's not running any, so.
Oh, he's not, is he? He's actually he's not running any.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what card would have done it for him. The Sign of Pride was about the only thing really.
Yep.
But Magmatar, it's going to do some damage to it. It's not enough though, is it? It's not enough. We can see here the Iketorsu is going to fly through over the top, get that damage in, chip him down. So we are at 1-1, people. Game 3. We said, didn't we, going into this, it was going to be a tasty final, and these two great competitors, Tufaka and Nauka, are proving that. They are both running very much different color decks, but I want to say similar decks in terms of their mid-game to late-game presence, right? They're both trying to pace each other out early game. Then they're trying to really get some presence mid-game to get some enchantments down, especially to Stairway to Hades or to Heaven and Back the case in both decks. And then the red orange wants to kind of get that late game with the reanimated stuff off the enchantments, whereas the green's trying to play around the beast of a card, Gigantomachia, that can shut down their big creatures. And it's a great matchup. It really is. And they're both playing exceptionally well.
Yeah, Tufaka just, had the tools he needed that game. He had multiple necromantics and born agains, like stalled them, like I don't know, turn 13, 14. he stalled them till he could start dropping these big bombs and force out the Gigantomachia. Just really well played.
Yeah, no, that was it. Like, it was so easy when you have that short stag and that IQ in hand. It's so easy to think, oh my god, I can get one out one turn, one out the following turn. But if you do that, it's happened to me many times. And then they drop the Gigantomachia. It's just like, oh my god, just game over. That's my end game gone. But he was so well, and we can see here he is playing first, and he has a Grinning Collarbock in hand, which is even tastier for this deck. We saw that having that mana ramp against David CK in the earlier matchup, of just how big that mana ramp can be, and being on turn 1 playing first, there is nothing Nauka can do about Grinning Collarbock gaining that additional mana. So we're it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. We have just been told that third place matchup is done. It's been played through, and we have a third place for you. And I've also been told, or corrected, that it's not David CK, it's David KC. David KC was against Goreflow in the third and fourth place playoff matchup, and David KC, with his red-orange list, overcome Goreflow with his red-orange list 2-1. So Goreflow picking up the fourth place spot, and taking home that $500,000 prize, and David KC is picking up that $750,000 prize. You guys wish you entered now, didn't you? You didn't realize that was the prize pool for this, and tell you now, you should have entered. But anyway, back to the final, which is a £15 million prize purse. Nauka is they're both kind of even flow at the moment, right? Was it? I mean, there's no issue with Nauka not trading a trapezist in to Kolobok until next turn, right? Because it's only every 2 charges that he gets the mana ramp. So playing wide, going more aggressive, is definitely a different route to what we saw last time.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna try and avoid killing off that Kolbach and make that ramp seem pretty inefficient when, because he can expect a Volkov heavy or something else around that 5-6 mana to come down way before he can really establish the board and start controlling Tufaka's big dudes.
Yeah,
But
well,
I think going wide here is the game plan, so he can control, and he has 2 souls. So I personally could see trading that Kolobok and getting that Trapezist back right away, but delaying his ramp is also worth it here.
Yeah, no, and I exactly, like, he traded into that Kolobok, then Harrowed of Famine comes out this turn, and all of a sudden that's insane value for Harrowed of Famine. There's no way for Nauka to deal with that with a 3/5 on the board that he has to burn cards. He's just chipping away his health. So not trading into that Kolobok was definitely the right play, because it meant that he doesn't get that ramp, like you said. Now I would imagine that Kolobok will trade into Trapezis next turn and pick up that 2 bonus mana, which can be a little bit nasty, but it all depends on whether Tufaka finds the card draws. But if we look at Nauka, he has pulled the Stairway to Hades off the top, which is, as we know, always a nice card to have when you're playing red orange. But to counter that, Tufaka does have a Heaven and Back in hand. I mean, at the moment, Nauka's hand is looking pretty good. He's got some removal in there with wings. He's got the trapeze in there that can go trade into. He's going to say, no, do you know what? You're not getting your 2 bonus mana, your bonus mana. You're just going to get your 1 bonus mana, which makes sense. And as you said, he is going to get a trapezist back next turn as well.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see that he had 2 trapezes in hand, or 1 on the board and another one in hand. So that was definitely the right play there. But yeah, this is the issue with RO is, if you're playing against something that can go wide and make you like trade all your creatures, you're gonna have to go for that late game plan and hope that you can outvalue them there.
Yeah, I mean, is there an argument now with an empty board, nothing there? Is there an argument to get Heaven out now? There's no risk. You might take 3 damage if a Wyvern comes down with Rush next turn. There you go. He's burning the. He's saying, Woody, you know absolutely nothing, my friend. I am burning my Stairway to Hades, and I am playing my Harrowed of Famine because you've been saying all tournament how good Harrowed of Famine is. So he's listened to me on some part, but he's chose to ignore me on the other part, which is fine. I mean, Tufaka, I can appreciate that.
He knows Nalka is going to be burning up to 7 at least to play, either Angel or 7 Ring Ritual. So
yeah,
and on an empty board, I think you can definitely go ahead and play that, and he gets to make use of the lurker. So he knows that because he's flipped on today, there's Slayer 1 and a Wings would be able to just take that out. But he knows that he has the token and it's going to be there to protect it. If he forces out a Pride of Place here, that's going to be huge.
IQ is playable next turn because that ramp from Kolobok. And again, if we look now, there is no Gigantomachia in hand. There's no. I mean, there is a Pride of Place at the moment. Oh, that's a nice removal there as well, isn't it? I mean, this is looking pretty tasty right now for Nauka. Sorry, for Tufaka, and he's setting this up nicely. He really is. It's that, like you said, a Pride of Place on the Harrowed of Famine. He'll take that all day long, right? He will say, you can play that there all day long. I'm going to play I'm going to play my Aiku Torso next turn.
So Tufaka is definitely keeping control of the board here. And I wonder if he's going to drop Iku on curve or not.
Well, it's actually slightly ahead of curve, isn't it? Because of the Collarbot ramp. So it's obviously curved, but it's you can see there on Nauka. Nauka's sat will be sat at 5 mana after burning a card now, and then apart from Gigantomachia, I mean that's coming down there. But I feel like honestly, I do feel like Aikitorsu next to Howard of Famine says burn another card, put you on 11 health, get rid of my 10/10, otherwise I'm going to basically swing through and potentially kill you next turn. It's I'm an aggressive player. I don't like playing aggro decks, but when I play mid-range decks, I like playing an aggressive approach and forcing my opponent's hand. And the reason I like that play, the Aikitorsu lane 2, is it's forcing Nauka, it's manipulating Nauka into how to play the game. Nauka can't play in their lane 1 to 3. They can't play wide because their health pool just doesn't allow it. And I like the fact of that. I mean, obviously, he drops an Aikitorsu. He has a Pride of Place in hand. Tufaka can see that Pride of Place, right? He can see that it isn't open. He can see it's there. He can see that if he plays it, it's gonna chance. He plays an Aikitorsu. Chances are Pride of Place comes out and turns it from a 10/10 into a 4/4 spirit.
Yeah, he's okay. I think that's a great play there by Tufaka. Oh wow!
Oh wow! Really? And he wants to keep the board presence, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I can see why. Yeah, I can see why, but it's I mean, it's 3 damage he's losing, right? But it's trading the 3 burn damage that Nauka would get into gaining board presence, and that's what Tufak has done all matchup, right? They've worked hard to keep the board presence there and to keep dictating what Nauka's doing, and they've done it exactly the same again then.
Yeah, he's definitely in the driver's seat here, and they want to keep. I think he's expecting his opponent. He's expecting Nauka to have a Giganto, because every time he's played against Aro, they've had it.
Yeah.
So he really doesn't want to play into that here.
Yeah. No, agreed. I mean, the lavish proxy isn't needed at the moment. So I don't know if he burns it though, but it's definitely not needed now. Swings a come down trading there. He's still 1 soul away from getting a card back. I tell you, Tufaka is pulling some wonderful cards at the top of his deck right now. Solomon's Gale in this current board state is actually very good, because the 6 health on it. It's if it trades into if a Wyvern trades into it, it's just a dangerous card. If it allows to get the overrun ability and it gets the Alpha Strike and the +2, my god, that card can get out of control. It needs dealing with, and the only thing that Nauka has to deal with it in hand is a Pride of Place. But if we look at Tufaka's hand, we've got a Solomon's Gale, a Lavish Proxy, an Aikitorsu, and a Armageddon Angel. All of those are respectable cards that Pride of Place will want to deal with, right? The Dark Passenger is
that's a really
huge.
good draw here.
Yeah. Trapeze is back from the Journey of Souls. Dark Passenger on top of it, and that's a really he's managed to keep that Pride of Place in hand, which is very
finding more answers is what Nauka needs here.
No, definitely, and there are only 2. Well, obviously, there's only 2 Dark Passenger in the deck because it's a rare card. You can't run more than 2 copies of it anyway. But finding that off the top was huge, especially with getting the Trapezist back. Is off Journey of Souls is pretty tasty, and we may see a Wyvern come onto the board here, start developing their own sort of presence. Obviously, that's not enough to call out an Armageddon Angel to get rid of 1 minion. Could bring out an Aikitorsu, but then again, we can see on the flip side that Pride of Place is in hand, and Tufaka has that information. I mean, Recruit is pretty nice here, right? It comes down. Hey there. He's playing wide.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, Nauka can play Hades next turn. I don't know if like Tufaka doesn't know that he has it, but he definitely is cognizant of that being in his deck. And if he goes and tries to contest that Wyvern, it could come down and really turn back around like the game.
Yeah. And if Nauka doesn't have So so Nauka doesn't pull a creature off the top here. He is, I don't want to say in trouble, but he's yeah, he's got a 3-2 on the board. He's got no infuse to move stuff. A Perry at the gates is not bad at all. It's going to give him some nice card draw off the top. It might give him an option to play something else as well. And we're back to that stage where Tufaka is trying to play around Gigantomachia, which is right to do because every matchup that he's played against Red Orange, it's been in hand. It's not in hand now, though, is it? And he's, I just wonder if his tentativeness to commit something like an IQ is going to end up coming back to bite him when Gigantomachia isn't in hand.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I guess he could have forced it out a while ago, and he would still have a 4/4 on the board, especially because he dealt with Scion a long time ago. So it's not like he's completely losing that unit.
Yeah. No, exactly.
But this is one of those reasons why I keep bringing up the Dire Benediction is because when the game gets so late and they keep having answers or you start getting low, you kind of need to do that one turn play that just lets you win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. Obviously, I did not find the combo, but I remember playing around with the combo when I was playing green orange, and it just, especially with green, it works so well because you can even do something like swing through with IQ to get the overrun damage, and then pop the Diamond Dictionary. You can end up doing like between 15 and 20 damage one turn. It's massive. The amount of games I've won off that Diamond Diction, IQ, or even short stag combo is huge. I mean, the Volkov Heavy's a nice play here, right? In lane 2, that shuts up.
I think he wants the Angel here, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, the Angel is not bad at all because there is no Hades on the board, meaning that there's not going to be any reanimate off them. It's going to... I think you're right. I think the Angel comes down now. Maybe the Angel baits out the Pride of Place, which would be lovely for Tufaka because then that would free up an open slot to play Aikatorsu just as long as Nauka doesn't pull into their Gigantomachia or Extract Life or anything along those lines.
Yeah, see, you can't just go ahead and play stuff across from rush units this late into the game, and you know he's holding cards in his hand, and you probably know it's Hades. So, and he's just trying to bait you into playing over there by stacking rush units in lanes 1, 2, and 3.
No, definitely. So, only 2 cards in hand for Tufaka, but one of those is an IQ. Now, we can still see, we've been saying it all of this matchup, that Pride of Place is in hand still, so he'll be cautious of that. Malcolm needs to deal with this because the Magmatar doesn't deal with it straight down there, playing it across there. Armageddon Angel doesn't have overrun. It's not like the big green minions. But at the moment, it's one-off lethal, so he definitely needs to do something over there to deal with it. I don't know. I feel like here he won't commit the Pride of Place. I feel like there's other routes he can take because it isn't an overrun. Playing something like a Magmatar down there to basically mean it will trade into it next turn is fine because he has the card advantage, right? And then, I mean, he can even play a Magmatar lane 7 on his side to block the Armageddon Angel, would set up the block like he's just done there, or lane 6, and then play. I was going to say, then play the oak. He couldn't play the oak. Sorry, he didn't have the mana. And then just play a recruit or pass a recruit. Heaven and Back off the top is not bad because Heaven and Back does work under Aikatorsu. As I found out last tournament, Silver Hades doesn't work under Aikatorsu because Aikatorsu is a demon. And I genuinely didn't know that. So yeah, it's I feel like I should get it on a t-shirt, but no, it does work under Heaven and Back. There you go. The moderators are proving to us right there. 5 sexy letters at the bottom between the 10-10. DEMON. Look at that. Wonderful. But Pride of Place. Nauka's done such a good job here, right, of managing that card. It's so easy and tempting just to go, oh, I'm gonna play it now. I need to get rid of this Armageddon Angel. And it's about managing your resources. If there's ever a game that is so demanding on you managing resources, it's Mythgard. And Nauka is proving that now. It's the way he's managing this resource, this one Pride of Place. It's literally the one thing stopping Tufaka putting down this IQ. Ooh, that is a ballsy play right there, right? I mean, from the draw.
He's not playing Turn of Seasons or anything, and he doesn't have a parry. I mean, he'll take one extra from the oak, but
Yeah,
he's close to having lethal here. So, go big or go home.
yeah, no, you're completely right. I like the heavy there. It's a really nice play. The overrun damage means that he's on the clock now. For the moment, he has 2-turn clock for Tufaka to win, whereas Tufaka is on a 3-turn clock at the moment. Sorry, no, he's only on a 2-turn clock at the moment as well, with the 2/4/4 set out wide over there. He is drawing a card now. It'll be interesting to see what he pulls off the top.
Wow, that's really risky.
I mean, would it have been better to drop the Born Again as a blocker?
I think you kind of have to, right?
Yeah, because
you don't want to flip because you want Slayer, so it could at least trade with the. Maybe not because I'm guessing he knows that the other card in his hand is Hades. So
yeah, so he's got rid of the IQ, and keeping the short stag. So he's burnt the IQ to get the gems. Short stag could pull back Armageddon Angel if it needed to. But again, there's that Pride of Place in hand. This is it's an extremely tight matchup right now. The Pride of Place comes down, which means that so it's going to trade in here, and he's going to draw a card off of it as well. But more importantly, it means that the Stairway to Hades doesn't work. It doesn't pop because it was an ephemeral. The Pride of Place is an ephemeral card. Pulling the Recruiter off the top is not great now because he hasn't got the orange gems to play it. He could burn the Recruiter to play Stairway to Hades if he wanted to, basically saying that if you drop an Armageddon Angel again, then I'm going to keep this up. But I mean, at the moment, it's kind of this is so tight. This is so tight. We've got 4 damage coming through now, and then that was set up. That will leave 8 on the board for Nauka, meaning that so 8 on the board now for Nauka. Or sorry, 7 health left. So there's lethal on the board. Nauka has only got a Recruiter or Stairway Haze in that hand. I don't know what is at the bottom of his graveyard, but I don't feel like that's an amazing pull right now. He has to go to short stag, right? Because at the moment there is no answer to it.
Yeah, and I think he has to pull something like a recruiter ghoul.
Eager Recruit. Is there an Eager Recruit in the Greater Boneyard? I mean, a Recruit would be great right now, right? Because it trades into the Oak.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghoul. Yeah, like you said, Ghoul's there. Yeah, Ghoul or even Exerium Recruit is not a bad card at all, right? Because he potentially gets a pull off the top if it's not. He's gone for the Eager Recruit. He's going to drop two minions down, 2 creatures down. So there's an argument here to say he might play the Eager Recruit lane 1, nice and wide, getting the 2 damage. There we go. Or lane 2.
On Heaven, yeah. So you can get more value. And
then the passer. Wow. So at the moment, that. Okay, so the
has
Nauka plays
Giganto?
No,
I don't think he has.
No, he's not played Gigantomachia.
He could definitely find it off of the divination draw from Oak.
Yeah, it's definitely potential. So that's got to be the play first, right? Trade the Oak in. He'll be one.
He might want to play Hades. He's probably going to play Hades here and get the value off of it.
Play the Hades under the Oak because you want to probably get rid of the Ifrit now because of the damage that it's doing to you over time, and then get the divination, and then it comes back in, and then when the Ifrit dies with Oak on the board still, you'll get the pop of the 1/1. So 1 health, 1 damage. This is I mean, talk about a final. Talk about a final. I don't know if you can get any closer, right? So he's got the health on that there. And imagine he plays the Hades underneath. He didn't play the Hades.
No, maybe he's hoping he gets Angel off of this. He's holding up 7 mana. He gets a pup.
Which is not going to be very good right now.
He's
Hey there.
probably just gonna go wide then.
I mean, he's got 5 damage over the
Tufaka
top.
has-
There you go.
Tufaka should have lethal, right?
Let's feed.
Okay, so that's lethal, right?
That's- Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's
Slayer
lethal.
adds. Slayer adds. Yeah.
Slayer adds to 1 as well, so he goes down to 1. There we go. Tufaka. Tufaka, the man, the myth, the legend that I said was so close to winning games. I just outside the finals, came up trumps. They said, you know what, I'm going to do it. Today's my day. They woke up this morning. They said, I had a wonderful day in the bar yesterday. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to get my Jägermeister on, and I'm going to win bar Brawl. Simple as that. And that's it, yeah. So Tufaka taking it 2-1 in the final. And I'm sure chat agrees with me. I'm sure you agree with me, Holston Buddy. What a final that was, dude.
Yeah, that was awesome, and I'm happy to see RO put in its place, especially by a reanimator deck.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
way to go, Tufaka.
No, it's been it was absolutely wonderful to see, and we're now going to move across to bracket now, just to give you guys confirmation. That is how today's wonderful proceedings have played out. We can see Tufaka coming there, coming over Cardine in round 1 of the top 8, then beating David KC, not CK, in the semi-final and picking up the win with a 2-1 win over Nauka, beating 2 red-orange decks along the way, and that rather funky enchantment deck from Cardine in the it was Cardine wasn't running the funky deck, was it? That was Reg running the funky deck. Cardine was actually running I think it was actually red-orange. Oh no, sorry, it's mono-blue. So Cardine overcoming 1 mono-blue deck and 2 red-orange decks to pick up the ultimate crown of Bar Brawl champion. I mean, that's a title I want straight away. And Tufaka, you deserve it, dude. Well done. Congratulations, my friend. But yes, that is it, guys. That is it. It's been wonderful. Wholesome. Thank you so much for being here, dude.
Yeah,